In the introduction in my book, I talk about the Beatles being the Big Bang. You know, when I saw the Beatles, that was it. That's what I wanted to be. I, wanted to be like them, dress like them. And I say that was lifestyle marketing in its purest sense, because the introduction in my book, I talk about the Beatles being the Big Bang. You know, when I saw the Beatles, that was it. That's what I wanted to be. I, wanted to be like them, dress like them. And I say that was lifestyle marketing in its purest sense, because you wanted everything, their politics, what the music they listened to. George Harrison went off, to Mideast, and all of a sudden we were buying sitar music. They were such a powerful influence. And all these years later, the Beatles you can't legally get the Beatles on iTunes. They're not available. And artists hold out because they know the demand is there, the longer the Beatles wait. But at the same time, Paul McCartney in particular knows that he wants that next generation who's coming up to hear the Beatles music. For instance, the ad campaign with Hello Goodbye, using his song on Target. That's very big because people are hearing that song. They may not know that's the Beatles, believe it or not. I've heard Paul's own kids, I think, at one point said, "Oh yeah, your dad was in that old band Wings," and he's like, "Well, I think there was a band before that one too," But their goal, the surviving members and the estates of John and George, they have signed an agreement with Harmonix and MTV to release the Beatles music on the Rock Band project. So, in other words, it'll be their own game. We don't know all the details, but it's what we understand. It's about a $300 million deal for the Beatles music. But part of it is the money, certainly. But the other part is Paul felt that that's how you reach this generation. To talk about downloads on the game, what's interesting is we did Saints of Los Angeles with Motley Crue, and they have their own label now. They have their own music now. They own their masters. So they released a new song exclusively on Rock Band for the first day. So before you could get it on iTunes, you had it on Rock Band. Well, for 2 months, we outsold iTunes 5-1 on the game. The iTunes download of that song was 99 cents. The Rock Band was $1.99. That's part of it, but that's the delivery system. Particularly young adults, that's what they're comfortable with. So you can see
this generation of kids is going to have access to all these Beatles songs via Rock Band.
Yes, and the imagery on the game we assume is going to be the Beatles, and Fender is also Gretsch guitars, and Gretsch was the first. There was several guitars the Beatles played. They always played Fender amps. Mid-period to late period, they were really heavy on Fender, particularly Abbey Road era and the Let It Be sessions are almost all Fender. And you can see Fender boxes in the movie that a man called Don Randall, who's a big supporter of this facility, he was there with the Beatles. And I got to ask him, I said, what was that like, 1969, whatever? The Beatles, and he goes, well, Paul was really nice, and then John was not as friendly, and then there was this Japanese woman that kind of like gave me a dirty look, and I'm like, could that have been Yoko, maybe?
Possibly.
Possibly even Yoko, Don, But anyway, he's just a wonderful gentleman. But he was there, and the Beatles said, give us all the Fender stuff. Just whatever you have, send it to us. So we have a great history. So the game, with our license and branding on the game, probably will be historical as well. I don't think anyone knows what it's going to be. But yes, the music will be available. There is no iTunes deal right now, so this could be the only way that you can get the Beatles music.
You hear it here first on Music Industry Television.
It's the first time it's been heard. It's been officially announced.
Wonderful. Well, Del, I want to thank you for sharing your insight on your career and on Fender, and tell us where they can get your book.
Well, it's available in all the fine bookstores and Best Buy and Costco, and also Amazon and Barnes & Noble online, and so any of the online. But the best information is to go to my website, which is www.officialcoolfactor, one word, officialcoolfactor.com. And that way they can get information on the book. You can see the endorsements I have, updated information on some of my speaking engagements. I'm going to be going out into the real world and talking about what makes people cool. I have a lawyer's, not a convention, but a speaking engagement. Can lawyers be cool? So stay tuned. We'll find out.
Well, thank you so much, Del, for being on Music Industry Television. Appreciate your time, and good luck with your book.
It was my pleasure, John. Thank you.